Alright, so I promised a spider plate video, and I'm not really going to have time to rebuild this set. And honestly, it has one more left in it, but this is a horse that, you know, he kind of notoriously squirts his foot out the front and used to, you know, crush a crap out of his heels. And one of those fine examples of why frog support can be a necessary thing. If you've seen my posts on Facebook, I'm not married to frog support. But you got to know when to use it and when you don't have to use it. But you can see in this foot, there's a giant buckle in this hoof wall right here. And like sometimes what'll happen is the next thing to happen is a quarter crack right there. And I know, my nails are low. This time of year he grows pretty slow, and I don't like him to look like he got hammered with a shotgun. So as I reset, the nails usually get lower and lower on this particular guy, and they hang on, so I roll with it. So if you kind of look at the back, you can see what I've used my plate to allow for. Oh, it's kind of a little egg bar action, right? So the vet that takes care of this horse is a kind of a fan of length out the back for support. And so it's one of the reasons I like these spider plates is if you're in a team situation and one of your team members is worried about support out the back, that when you build this setup, you can shape that into an egg bar shape, and like you have all this clearance right here where he's not kicking the back of it. Oops, let me adjust that. I'm trying to do this in one take. So it's not kicking the back of it, tearing the thing off, and you just got this small lip here that they may or may not get a hold of. But see how this shoe gathers ground? Okay? And so in the arena, because of the way I build this shoe, you notice that the shoe I use is not concaved. Alright? And then the spider plate, it has these two holes in the back and the front. And dirt sticks to dirt, right? And so that allows this shoe to gather a little ground and float on the back, in the back half. You know, sometimes we hear about, oh, the wedges, they're no good. They just push down into the ground and don't do anything, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not here to debate that theory. I'm just saying these gather ground. Another thing that I like about it, and I've still got to finish this trim, so don't get excited, but you can see how I've got kind of some chalky material here, and like that bar exfoliated up there, you know, pretty high. And then, but the foot, because of the holes in the spider plate, the foot can, you know, I call it respirate. It's not really respirate, because I guess it kind of is, you know, because there's open dirt against the foot and not just a pad. It allows for environmental moisture exchange, and then I get kind of a more natural sole exfoliation, you know, where I'm not having to carve on it real hard, and I can tell kind of where it wants to exfoliate and where I have to trim a little further into the live sole if I want. And so that's a spider plate, you know. I use these. I mean, I have to charge quite a lot for them because the setup on them is pretty tough. They don't, and you're using them with an aluminum shoe, so you don't get a massive amount of resets out of it. If this was during riding season, then I wouldn't get a reset really. Right now, you know, Fluffy's just kind of hanging out, staying in shape. But I've noticed, like with some factory-made shoes, you get kind of this, see this along here, and it's kind of a scaly, dissimilar metal corrosion, which seems to be, like, part of it's a byproduct, I think, of the metal, whatever kind of mineral is in the soil or is in the horse's urine. But sometimes with these and factory-made shoes, I don't really understand what the difference is, but they'll get that dissimilar metal corrosion going between the plate and the shoe itself. And you can see this shoe has a gap, you know, but like that gap is like that gap is from the way it's kind of sprung because of the rivets. And when I nail these on, that gap will close back up and won't be so sprung. And then if I'm having trouble with it, to be honest, it's real easy to knock those pins out, clean it up, and remount it if I'm that concerned about it. But these things work a treat. I use them a lot with, you know, that navicular style shoe with the elevated heels that we debate so much. And, you know, kind of this wedged roller motion shoe that I like to build with the straight inside so that it gathers ground instead of using a hoof packing. I'm a big fan of that sort of thing. And I don't know, they just support the foot up nice. And I showed you that buckle that happens in this foot, right? And like that's actually, like that's really good. That buckle when we started chewing this horse was super bad when we first started. Now, and his hairline on the heel practically touched the ground on the untrimmed foot. Now you can see his high foot over there. He doesn't have much trouble there, but even in his high foot, he has just a tickle of a buckle in that quarter, and he's gotten where he feels a lot better, or uses his high foot a little more. So I use a spider plate in it also. But that's it. That's my kind of my spider plate video. And you know, when I've got some time and I need to build a new set for this guy, I will, you know, record a kind of a video on how I put the package together. But really, if you're handy, you can kind of see how the package goes together, right? Fit the shoe, drill a couple of rivets in it, set the shoe, decide what shape you want the back of the bar to be, and drill your nail holes. And also, like, you'll really have trouble with nail height in these because you have to drill the nail holes out, so you end up with no real pitch. And anyway, I broke my my augury bit that I used to drill those in and put pitch in with, so this guy had to kind of do with what I could do. But it doesn't really hurt the horse any. It just you know, makes you maybe a little more prone to losing shoes. But this guy's really not a problem with that, and it's right down the road if I do have one. So that's your little, you know, RoTramel in the raw about spider plates. Talk to you later. Peace out.